Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on the CDC platform once again for yet another watch along. Honestly, I don't know why I'm doing watch alongs anymore because, of course, the news broke earlier that it is impossible for Bangalore to qualify. But we're not going to be talking about Bangalore because their season's done and they're going to be playing for some pride tomorrow. I have Bish and Jeswat with me, and good to see you, Bish. Monday Blues, you've of course dressed accordingly. We'll have Cricknicks in a while, and of course, more too. And we're going to be talking about this. Top of the pops game, but so far it's been anything but that. Mumbai huffing and puffing to a relatively modest 110. How do you assess the first inning so far, what you've seen?
To start, before this game, it was a bit disappointing that the three qualifiers have been decided.
Yeah,
That two teams had been out of the tournament with three matches to go.
correct.
So in that context, it was quite nice to see the table toppers lose.
Yeah,
Not lose. I mean, in a position where they could lose, rather.
could lose.
So it leaves a little bit of spice still in the tournament. I mean, they still will most likely top the table. It's very difficult for them not to from here. But it's nice that they're in a bit of a fix. They have something to think about. You want the business end of the tournament to be exciting. You want it to be competitive, and it looks like it could be that.
It could be that. Hopefully, we can get a low scoring thriller in this one because Mumbai are no mug with the ball. They have plenty of options. One of them is Nat Silverbrand, who'll probably be bowling to Meg Lanning front up. And the thumbnail suggests that it's the battle of the Bobcats. I mean, jokes apart though, because Shafali and Izzy Wong, we saw Izzy Wong really have a good cameo with Harmanpreet because Mumbai were in an absolute shambles when they were 24 for 4 after 8 overs. But let's see how Delhi go about their chase. Remember, Delhi have already chased a 100 plus target down with 8 overs or something like that. It's quite crazy. Next, good to see you, my friend. Of course, smiling more today because his UP Warriors came out trumps, and why not? Because look, at the end of the day, even though Dipti Sharma got taken to the cleaners, it was other people who stood up. Good to see you as ever. Were you surprised by the way that Mumbai batted today, 110? Or do you think it's the surface? What do you put it down to next?
Surface, and I've been asking for it almost literally that you want Mumbai to be 3-4 down early. They
Yeah.
still did not send Amanjot Kaur today. They batted Pooja and Izzy Wanga. Fine, that's how they want to go. You can understand where they're coming from, but I think the short selection again was very bizarre from the top order. Uh, I mean, Skiva again got a great first ball, but you felt that maybe she could have done better. Jastika not so much. Amelia Kerr again driving away from the body. But I think there was help all through. And so I don't think batting was as easy because, and which is why Marizan Kaab said that it is a good score, but we still have to chase it. The game is far from over. So there was an honest admission that it is not going to be easy, and Mumbai won't make it easy for them as well, which is how it should be between the top two sides. So is that a wicket?
And nearly, I mean, I saw your reaction when I suddenly peered to the TV and nearly a play missed there from Lanning.
Yeah,
Fascinating first innings in terms of the bowling. I mean, you mentioned Marizan Cap there again doing what she does best,
yeah.
especially in the power play. Pooja Vastrika returned with the bat from Mumbai, of course, and that was good to see. And plenty of other things. One thing which caught my eye, though, guys, is when Harman lost her wicket, you look at that celebration from Jemmy, and it was a floss dance. I wouldn't dare to do the floss if, to the Indian captain, that is. Pretty ballsy from Jamie.
But also probably indicative of the fact that the dressing room for the Indian team was a fairly good, happy dressing room
Happy space.
where you can afford to, uh, take the Mickey out of your captain. I mean,
Correct.
Yeah.
so I mean, I thought it was quite nice. I thought it was indicative of good relationship.
I mean,
And-
sometimes you think about the men's scene, right? Especially when Virat was captain. I remember when Nitish Rana got him out in this KKR RSP game, and I was like, do not celebrate like that. He's not going to pick you ever. Maybe that was the case. But yeah, I mean, it was good to see from Jamie. On that note, sorry, it's good to see Mohit as well, who's just quietly plodded in nonchalantly. Mohit, good to see you. Your team's in a little bit of a pickle, my friend. 110 for 7. All of this talk about Mumbai in the last two games. Is it a reality check?
Yeah, not just in a little pickle, but in a very big pickle. And against UP, you sort of would expect them to struggle because they don't have a lot of great players of spin in that batting lineup. But playing pace is actually the strength of the top five of this Mumbai batting lineup, except, say, Harmanpreet Kaur, who's equally good against both. But be it Yastika Bhatia or Haley Matthews, or even Nat Silverbrunt, all of them are a lot more comfortable against pace, score a lot more quickly against pace. So today's implosion was a little surprising because Marizan Kaap is a great power play bowler. I think all but one of her wickets in this tournament has come in the power play. So I think Mumbai could have just played her out sensibly. There was no need to be over aggressive, which I think both Yastika Bhatia and Marizan and Haley Matthews were guilty of, not respecting the good balls. Like the ball Nat Silverbrand got, most people would have struggled with that one. But yeah, the other two early wickets were due to loose shots. So I think Mumbai need to be tighter in the power play, especially on wickets where there is assistance. Because like we were talking in the last match as well, their lower order hasn't got a lot of batting and they probably don't inspire a lot of confidence at this moment as well.
They have got batting, but they have not wanted them to bat. So let's put it that
Exactly.
way. They have got
Yeah,
enough chances, but they haven't wanted them to bat.
No, absolutely. I think I was going to say the same thing. Biss, or you were going to say something?
Yeah, no, I was thinking there was an implosion, no doubt, that they were at 21 for 4 or something. But I've been crying out for this since the start of the tournament.
Exactly.
That when teams lose 4 5 wickets in the WPL, teams just seem to throw it away. But Mumbai didn't today, and I was very happy that from 21 for 4, they dragged themselves to 74 for 5 or so in 15 overs and put themselves in a position to score 125. At 74 for 5 in 15, they could have got to 125. It didn't happen, but that's not for the lack of effort, not for the lack of tactically playing it right.
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, from 74 for 5, they could get only 30 odd runs in the last 5, which is not terrible considering you have 5 wickets down. So I was very, very happy with the way they played it, and they've put themselves in a position now to fight. I mean, sure, 110 is a small total, but it's not the easiest pitch in the world, and that's the way you play to fight, and there's a reason why they're top of the table.
I mean, meanwhile, when we're chatting about this, Shafali Verma just played an absolute hike across the onside. And look, I mean, these two feature on a thumbnail. I said it at the top of the show. It's a battle of the Bobcats. Izzy Wong versus Shafali Verma. Who's going to come out on top? But this over will tell us a lot. Shafali looks like she's in the mood. She was in the mood the last time Delhi was chasing about 100 change. Like I said, in 7.5 overs or something. We'll take the comments as well. There are lots of them coming through. More so from Bharat Kotwani, who says, why people like Sanjay Manjrekar commentating if they don't know about women's cricket in depth? If Delhi can't chase this, then can they give their slot to Bangalore, Avnish? It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. And I love this comment from Nitin, guys, who says, who's this new guy in the panel? Looks like a team owner.
We're talking about me here.
Yeah, of course. Because Mo's been slightly longer than you have. So Nitin's gone on to say that. I mean, do you own any teams, Bish?
Yeah, I own a fantasy team. It's called the Scuds.
The Scots fantasy team. But yeah, really appreciate all the comments coming through. Love the back of the hand slow ball. Was this from Izzy Wong? It was. It was. I mean, is she the only one or one of the few who bowled in the women's game, guys? Nick's Mohit, back of the hand.
Nat Silverbrand bowls it pretty well, actually. She bowled it in the last match as well. Pooja Vastrakar has a lot of different kinds of slower balls. The other person in the Indian team who does bowl it is Renuka Singh Thakur. Megan Schutt also has a back of the hand slower ball. So these are like the 4-5 people who bowl it pretty well and who
Okay.
yeah.
Hold on there. Oh, she gets 4.
Megan
I think
Schutt
she took her
needs to-
chances on. Yeah, sorry, go on.
When I was saying Megan Schutt needs to bowl a front of the hand ball properly before she moves to the back of the hand. It's been a disaster the last few weeks.
Oh, God. I said in the previous show, Shafali Karp will win it for Delhi, but it looks like Mumbai will not be in their final because Karp has already done her part with the ball. I mean, Karp's been excellent with the ball. You expect Karp to probably deliver the bat more, but obviously she's a 3 sort of department scene. Now, Izzy Wong is like pulling her hair out, wondering why the fielder didn't get back to get that 18 for none, 1.4. And again, it's something that I spoke to Akshay and Gurkirat and Nix earlier in the watchalong about how the fields are predominantly set in the league. And oh my God, is she like, honestly, what is she playing? She's playing a video game. Though.
But what is she bowling? You've got mid on, mid off, up. You have a player who plays well straight. Why are you bowling half volleys slightly on the offside and then a
I think this is
variation
a
slightly
slow
on the
ball too.
onside?
I think this is a slow ball too. I think she just picked the bones out of that. I mean, that's just.
That is a slow ball, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a knuckleball, but Shefali's reading her like a book. And look, Delhi, I mean, it won't do any harm to them if they pop this total off in about 8-9 overs, right? Can they actually supersede the run rate?
The end of this game will put them at 6 in 8, will it not? If I'm not wrong.
I think.
No, five and eight,
Five.
5 and 7. They play their last match
So
tomorrow.
they can
So
get
if,
to 6 in 8.
yeah,
They can.
they can get to 6 and 8, and so can Mumbai if they beat RCB.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shot. Stand and deliver, but it's fielded by the captain. But they'll take that 22 for none after two. I mean, in a game like this, now that it's kind of unraveled, Nick, who are your fantasy picks and how are you picking tonight? Because it's easy to get carried away with the two best teams in the league, right?
Yeah, these are also the tougher games to predict
Yeah.
and make because again, everybody in the world made Skiver, Matthews, and Carp as options. But when two of your main guys get out on like very low score, less than 15, then it's an open game for anybody to win. But it's a very common game. Then one catch, one difference can change the game. So these are the games where we generally ask everyone to avoid playing smaller contests. You'll probably take multiple risks, like I did. I have Shikha Pandey captain, Marizan captain, Johnson captain, where you are expecting the other side to win, but it still
Hmm.
has to fall in exact place in that manner for you to get something big. So yeah, these
Yeah.
games are the ones where you kind of avoid because like both teams have 7,000 options and they could all bowl whenever they want to and however they want to. So
Yeah.
that's the case. So yeah, avoid such games. Back the good game that was there today, Mushfiqur Rahim scored a fastest ODI turn for Bangladesh. It got rained off. I mean, can't I had almost everybody there near perfect team, but it's okay. We keep trying.
I mean, Bangladesh keep beating their own ODI records, I guess. I think the first ODI saw them get to their highest. Now I think they superseded that as well. More on that in the cricket.com app, but 26 for none. And I think Mohit and Bish were mentioning this, that Delhi's top five predominantly love pace. Why Silverbrunt again? Should they go to Seka immediately?
I mean, I think Mo is talking about how the Mumbai top order.
Oh,
I
Mumbai
mean,
top order, sorry.
Yeah, enjoy pace. But uh,
Similar to with the Delhi top order, right?
I don't know, depends on the quality of spin that you have in your attack as well. I think if you were, say, a UP team with Deepthi and Sophie, you may be more confident to give players a chance. I mean, take a chance in these kind of
But
situations.
Seka
Not
has
that
a
Deepthi
tail up,
bowls in
right?
a power play usually at all,
True.
right? But if you want to take your chances, I think you do it with that attack. But this is an attack where there's a quality pace. I mean, of course, there are people like Ishaq who are waiting to bowl as well. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see the need to change it up too much for a team that's been successful.
Okay, Mohit, do you agree with those thoughts? And if you were Harman right now, how are you going to get wickets?
I agree with giving Nat Silverbrand the first over because she's been excellent in the power play right through the tournament. And generally, like bowling with the new ball is something that she's done well in this tournament. But I would have gone to Saika for the third over, especially looking at how comfortable Shafali was against Izzy Wong in the second over. And Saika got Meg Lanning out the last time these two teams met. And left arm spin is generally a very favorable matchup against Meg Lanning. So this over, I think Harman should have gone to Saika. And I think they should also bring in Amelia Kerr in pretty early because she's another bowler who has a very good matchup against Meg Lanning. And even against Shafali, she will definitely have a chance with her googly. So I think
Would you
Harman
do a
should
Leslie in the
pretty.
power play though?
She doesn't
Would you
bowl a
do-
lot in the power play, but considering how well they are batting against pace, and almost half, one third of the total is already chased down, it might be too late if they like wait to introduce her in the seventh over today.
Yeah, I mean, that's the question, right? Because when you're defending just 110, you front load all your best options and go for it regardless of phases and regardless of matchups. Because then you're just going with your best options. I know Mumbai have just an assortment of bowlers. Haley Matthews could be brought on, you never know. I know it's the possibility of her coming on the bowl is unlikely with two right-handers out there, but Pooja Vastrika's back in the team. Maybe they still might give an over of seam, replace Izzy Wong from the other end. Who knows? 32 for none, 2.5. And Meg Lanning is saying, okay, so far so good. I was going to say Meg Lanning is saying, Shifali, if you can do it, I can do it too. But they're pretty much going, I mean, neck and neck with each other. 33 for none after 3 overs. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel and follow Nikhil for all the fantasy tips. You guys can follow more with Ambition and their respective social media handles. Abhinav Gupta says, If Delhi wins, Bangalore will have to take revenge and spoil Mumbai's party, put them in the eliminator. I mean, yeah. I mean, how many times have RCB ended up being party poopers?
Yeah, not much else to play for. You
Yeah,
play for what
nothing
you
to
have.
play for. I mean, it's shocking. I mean, when the whole UP result happened, so we were sitting here in this studio, and then the boys who are writing the articles, they've all come one by one, entering the studio, and then pointing fingers at me, like basically doing what Cooley did in the Australia tour of what 2011, that was 2014. I'm not sure which one, but basically that. And I'm just like, why? And they were like, yeah, this is where we love it. Because your Bangalore goes down. I'm like, you guys are pure evil. To see someone dejected, you guys get the emotion out of that. So I'm just like, yeah, sure.
That was
But
a
that's
terrible
sport.
result, though.
Terrible.
Gujarat took themselves out, took Bangalore out, ended the qualifying hopes for
It's crazy.
qualifying fight in the whole tournament.
The misfield, and Seka's not gonna like that. Speak of her, she comes into the attack, and Lanning just rocks back and cuts her for four. I think we're gonna see the India gate on replay here, if I'm right, because it's Gentleman Kalita who I think is the culprit, and it is the India gate. It is the whole India gate that we see it through her legs, but it's fine. I mean, so far I think these guys are just gonna go at the ball and they're not just gonna hold themselves back. It's not in their DNA to. Oh, another sloppy little error, but it's fine. What I was gonna ask you guys was essentially looking ahead right now. I asked the guys earlier in the Watchalong about Gujarat and certain takeaways and all that. I just want to ask you guys about Bangalore because in they're kind of confirmed out. What's to look forward to them? Oh, shot Shefali Verma. Actually, let's hold on to the Bangalore chat for a bit because Shefali Verma, I don't mind talking about her for the rest of the Watchalong because she's batting that exceptionally out there. She's probably the best talent in terms of to hit the Indian scene. We talk about Sachin at the age of 16, Mithali, all the great names in Indian cricket. Where does Shefali stand in terms of pure talent at the age where she is? Prithvi Shaw was another name.
See, I don't know talent because she is definitely very talented.
Yeah.
But for me, what catches the eye with Shefali in women's cricket, especially, is the power. The power game is less common in women's cricket, and Shefali really brings that.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick a person who I think is really talented, who also got in very young, is Jemmy for me.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys have seen some of those videos of Jemmy playing when she was a little girl and hitting players much older than her, playing against boys very often. And she always had that straight bat and was technically correct fairly naturally from a very young age. So for me, Jemmy is always the one person who I think was like a super talent. When I saw her get dropped last year, it was very disappointing because usually when you see talent, you just give them a long rope, like how Rohit played forever or how KL is getting a long rope now.
Yeah.
And I thought it was ridiculous for Jemmy to be dropped at that point when she was.
No, I mean, there's lots to like about Jemmy, and I think Jemmy is one of those old school players who are just brilliant to watch, but you cannot really not talk about Shefali. I mean, more the Knicks come in here, please, because sometimes it gives you an impression that there are only a few names in the women's game who can really take the opposition by just absolute shock. One of them is Shefali, 100%, right? More than the Knicks.
11 Australians and then whoever you say.
Oh, yeah, 11 Australians as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like one of the big reasons why a tournament like this is happening is also somebody like Shefali Verma. Because in the previous iteration of this tournament, which was the Women's T20 Challenge, she came across as a 15-year-old and had that breakthrough season. And that like got a lot of people talking about the untapped talent in India that's there. And like you were saying, I agree with you. Like what Shefali Verma does, I don't think any other Indian player can do it. Nobody, like not Smriti Mandana, not Harmanpreet Kaur, not Jemima, not anybody else. Like the two people who can probably bat at a similar tempo from ball one are Pooja Vastrakar and Richa Ghosh, but both of them don't play in the top order and they won't be playing in the top order anytime soon, at least for India. So Shefali Verma, I feel, is a very special player because she has the ability to get going from ball one and not just like find gaps in pierce gaps, but also like loft the ball cleanly for six, which is not something that a lot of people do. Like Harman takes her time to settle down, or initially at least likes hitting the fours. Whereas for Smriti Mandana, she's not a six hitter. She's like somebody who can time sixes, but she doesn't look to hit sixes. Like she just ends up hitting them because she times the ball so well. I think she's a really good player. There are certain weaknesses in her game, but for a 19-year-old, I think apart from Mithali Raj, I have not seen any other Indian women's cricketer who was this good at the age of 19. So,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
special talent.
I mean, just when you say that, she's just taken down Hayley Matthews with her first ball over mid wicket for six. I mean, Nix, does she have the most amount of intent in Indian cricket right now? Men's and women's, Shifali Wala.
100%. Cannot fault her for not showing intent. She could be of 10 ducks and she could still bat the same way. So credit to her for that.
And those are one in like 1,000 players, right? Who actually are so ballsy in terms of their approach. They know one way, which is their way or the highway, sort of thing, right?
yeah, and it does often work against them as well when they are not in the kind of run of form that they are, because then it starts to look like they don't want to look for other options, which we touched upon in the previous watchalongs as well. So now she's going well, she's going strong because there's no pressure, but she could easily get out, and she has.
We need to make these little sort of clips about Nix because he said that, I think, I don't know, for the millionth time in this league, where she needs to get out and it just happens. It just happens. Well called. I think we've also kind of really, put in the commentary curse or call it whatever.
It's not the curse. See, that's how she bats. So you have to be able to ready that the mistake will come. So that's why you treat players like her, Rishabh Pant, and you look at them differently. So when they're not scoring runs, you're not going to look at the runs that they're scoring. You need to look at how they are scoring. What is it that is leading to the problem? And then you kind of work backwards that, okay, let's do this, let's do that, and solve it. So there are enough things that Shefali can work on. She's already this good. If she's able to sort out or at least find a counter, you don't have to even to attack your weakness. If you can just find a counter to what's not always in your favor, you could still become a much more than what an average player is for any side. So I think there is lots to look up to for her, but she hasn't had the run of form as well in international cricket for a while. So you can't run away from that as well. So the opposition also matters. She's chasing a small score. In the last few games, she hasn't got going as well. So it will come as long as she is able to follow the process that she set for herself, and she's getting better and not repeating the mistakes. She should be in a better space.
Yeah, I want to ask one question.
Go on.
Since we are on this topic, I'd like everyone to tell us who is the one player you'd pick to hit the first ball they play for six. If you had to pick a guy to come in and hit one ball for six.
Rishabh Pant. Now, Rishabh Pant, hands down. Yeah. Any format.
For me, it's Hardik. To hit the first ball for six.
Yeah.
I think Hardik's a much cleaner hitter than Rishabh is. Rishabh really has
I don't care. 70 meter or 90 meter, 6 is a 6. You don't get it.
No, I just feel like it's easier for Hardik. It comes more easily to him to play that shot. I mean, Surya's of course an option, but he's hit his first ball for six many times.
Prithvi Shaw?
Yeah.
Maybe 4, not a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't have the muscle to.
Mohit?
It can be a female cricketer as well.
Yeah, of course.
Anybody?
Yeah, I'd pick two then, either Grace Harris or Chloe Tryon. I think they are the two people in the women's game who can straight away come and hit the first ball for six, irrespective of the situation or the bowling attack. So
yeah. I think Caps is getting there. Caps is getting there, but not just yet. Maybe I feel
she's like a great four hitter. Like she's somebody who's more a timer of the ball. Yeah. What about you, Avnish? Like, who's your pick?
My pick for the 6 hitter.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so easy to name names of 10 years ago, funnily enough. I can think peak Dhoni, yes. Peak Gale, yes. Peak De Villiers, yes. Who else should I think of right now? I think of maybe Livingston in the World Game.
Harry Brook.
Gale hit the first ball of a test match for a 6. Gale hit Sohag Ghazi, the first ball of a test match for a 6.
Yeah.
Suresh Raina in his peak form, saying Greg. But yeah, I mean, it's a good question to think about it. Kieran Pollard, yes.
Not if he's facing a spinner.
Not if he's facing a spinner.
Not Rashid bowling a really quick one.
Sixes came off a spinner, right? So
I think I'll put 2 more names which you people may have seen. Mohammad Harris has done that. Crazy fellow, can hit the ball anywhere from anywhere. And one name that may not always come true, but Umar Akmal. The lad when he wanted to, he may have sore grapes, but when he wanted to, he could hit a ball. I mean, he did that in the PSL this year as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
And as we go along more and more, I think this question will become more and more important as well.
Yeah.
Because you would
Yes.
want players to get off the mark and get going quickly, because the target of 160, 170 will very soon become nothing, because the
Yeah.
pitches we play on won't change, the grounds will only get smaller, and it will become more and more important to get off the mark quickly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this will be one of the parameters on which players get judged all the more as we go along.
Actually, in 10 years' time, you might have, stat teams saying, okay, when his average of hitting a ball, first ball for six is this, or
If
whatever.
nothing, if you even broaden it, early strike it in the first 5 balls.
First
Because
10,
that
yeah,
kind of data will become very important.
Because right now itself, I mean, striking the first 10 balls available, but like striking the first 2 balls, it'll definitely go down that route because cricket's also becoming a smaller format. By the way, it's not as kamikaze of cricket that we're seeing in the last 9 balls because, of course, Shefali lost her wicket to Haley, who, by the way, is again in contention to get that purple cap. Remember, Seka's not got wickets today. Sophie just got one. Haley, if she just gets a couple, it just becomes a 3-horse race. And talk about the 6 hitters. We were just speaking about that. Shefali's up there. Sophie Devine, thanks to that brilliant no. Hopefully, we can see another Sophie Devine show. But
Yeah.
against Mumbai, I mean, if Mumbai actually lose to Bangalore, and I'm guessing they'll be losing this one, that's not the best way to enter the final potentially, right?
Yeah, but it's still a final, and they probably will still get straight in there. If they lose the next one, they will have 5 out of 8,
Yeah.
and then they may not get there because there could be teams with 6. So it's not guaranteed if to make the final if they lose the next one. So they really
Yeah,
have
I
to
mean,
win.
I was just thinking about it even after the afternoon result, Knicks. The fact that UP actually had 2 great chases, okay, 3 with the Grace Harris one, but in the last 2 games, chasing a relatively, scary 128 against MI, and then today, 179 odd. Dude, like, it's easy to think in hindsight, but if they didn't get those, we would have probably seen Gujarat, Bangalore, and UP tussle it out on the last day or something, right?
Yeah, but then you always knew that they'd find a way through because they've had those performances in the past. So
Yeah.
which is why, as Bishan said, Mumbai can go lose 2 on the bounce, but still go into the final thinking that we have enough match winners to turn up on the day. Because
Yeah.
they have the top 5 who, even if 2 of them come off, they are set for the day. The others don't even have to like show up. So that's why you back your team with so many star players. Just one thing that I wanted to ask all of you in from the first innings, what do you make of that one Poonam Yadav over? I
Oh.
felt very let down, but I want to hear Mohit and Vishen and then now you, Avnish. What do you make of that one over? I know it's
He
too
went for
less to
18,
judge.
right? They were 33 for 4, just to get some context.
Yeah.
33 for 4, and then it became 51 for 18. And she's not played a single game, has she? 1 second. Meg Lanning, is it 6? It
Oh,
is. Bottom hand power. She didn't play a game, right, Nick, throughout the
No,
tournament?
first game.
No, this is
It
her
was
second
really-
game.
Second game, first over.
No, last game she bowled 2 overs for 7.
Okay.
She bowled pretty well. Yeah. Yeah, coming back to that over, like I didn't feel like Poonam Yadav did a lot wrong, to be fair. Like that is how she bowls. She can't bowl quicker than that. Like she's not built in a way to bowl quicker than that. Like the shot over the covers was a good ball.
Yeah, yes.
That was just good footwork from Pooja Vastrakar. The next shot that she played was almost a Lagan like shot, which was very innovative. Like the only other person who's probably done that to Poonam Yadav is Amelia Kerr, and she probably showed everyone how to play
How
Poonam
to play,
Yadav
yeah.
by like going deep in your crease
Good.
and using the areas behind the wicket. So Poonam Yadav just bowled the way she generally bowls. So I actually felt bad for her because I thought she should have
Yeah.
like been in the Delhi team right from the beginning. Like for me, she's a bowler with a lot more guile, a lot more ability than somebody like Radha Yadav. So she should be picked ahead of her. Current form also, like Poonam Yadav's been much better, like on the domestic circuit. So I felt bad for her, and that last 6 again was great footwork. It wasn't a loose ball. It's the
Yeah,
kind
but
of
then
shot.
so my question to you is, if you keep doing the same thing, but you're not getting results and you're out of the system for that, would you not change anything?
So
Would you
Poonam
still back
Yadav's
the same?
actually no, she's tried to change things, but like there's a limit to how much she can change because of I
Yeah,
think the
of course.
way she's structured. So earlier, if you look at her bowling speeds, it would always be in the 50s.
Yeah.
In this tournament, in the 3 overs that she's bowled, it's been all above 60. But most other bowlers now bowl in the 70s, and people like
Yeah, it
Sophie
is.
Eccleston, Grace Harris can even touch the 90s.
90s,
So
yeah.
even her top level is not as good as the other people's slower balls.
Is
So
she the
that is just
slowest
a
ever
constraint.
in the women's game?
Among the Indian bowlers, I'd probably say, yeah, like would be definitely among the most slower ones, because others would bowl slowly, but they also could step it up. Like somebody like Rajeshwari Gaikwad can bowl at 80 as well.
Quick,
Same for Sneh Rana, and they can slow it down to 65 if needed. But
But
most
then,
can, like,
so then isn't it picking her more risky if you say that over a Radha Yadav, who you know can bowl quicker, she contributes with the bat as well, does probably the best fielder. So then, how do you say? How can one say that she needs to? Oh, that's a great 6-1 capture.
That's a
Sorry.
great shot. I thought for a second Haley Matthews improvised by just chucking it in faster, but Capsy can bat, dude. Go on, sorry, next.
Yes, I was asking, how do you then feel that she can stay relevant in this format of the game? Because I feel every time I feel I want her to do well, but she just ends up getting hit, and you feel bad, let down. Like, how do you get her back in the system?
Can I come in?
Yeah, please, of course.
I think the issue with players like Poonam Yadav, who bowl as slow as they bowl, is that your margin for error becomes very, very, very
Very
small.
less.
It's not that she can't bowl a great ball. She has the guile and she will beat batters from time to time.
Yeah.
But even if you get it a little bit wrong, you will often find yourself saying exactly what Mohit is saying now. That it wasn't a bad ball, but she got hit. Yeah, it wasn't a bad ball, but it was bad enough to get hit. And that will happen again and again and again. So, uh, unfortunately, I mean, I'm going to call a spade and say I don't think she's good enough to play consistently at this level, which is why she has lost her place in the team as well over a period of time. And it may be difficult to play initially, but she's been found out over a period of time. When you consistently bowl that slow and become that predictable, you've been found out. And I
Yeah,
mean,
I
I think
think
that's the fact of the matter.
Yeah, I think that England series at home, where everybody just kept going back and even wide outside off to just keep hitting her to mid wicket, and you find out felt that this is one of your best options, and she's being literally toyed around for fun. But yeah, I think it's what.
Oh
Well
my God.
bowled.
Haley Matthews has just done a Joe Root over there. She's just done a Joe Root over there. We've seen Joe Root employ bouncers from time to time, especially from around the wicket, being the off spinner that he is. But Haley Matthews has literally lost her mind. I mean, even she knows it. Nix, I'd love you to see the replay because I think you're watching us.
How quick was
Look at
that?
that. I mean, how do you
So
keep that
definitely we
against
have-
so much, yeah?
Yeah, it's Jamie saying 1 pounds for the over.
Brilliant. I mean, this is an expensive over. It's in the contention to be the most expensive the league has ever seen. No, it's a dot ball. It's a dot ball. So, look, Alice Capsey wants to probably head to the courtyard married slightly earlier because everyone's aiming for a within 10 p.m. finish. But this, I think, should help. 89 for 1-7 overs. I think Delhi are honestly making a statement here because they got rolled over by Mumbai in the reverse fixture. Now they're giving Mumbai the taste of their own medicine. I mean, is this the inevitable final almost set up perfectly? One each and then head to the final and then the two best teams.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't rule UP out yet at this point.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Nick's
Um,
ambition. Sorry, Nick. Sorry. Because Nick's also kept saying that, you know, they're going to be the champions. Just way too much. And it's a
Yeah.
color yellow.
No, and they are the best spin attack in this tournament. The pitches are getting slower and slower, and they're getting better and better as a team. Even their batting is coming to the party. So, I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised if UP win that game against possibly Delhi, but maybe even against Mumbai.
Sorry, I just thought of a cliche which lots of people get pissed off on. Peaking at the right time in a tournament. I don't know if that sits well with you guys as fans. It's happening with UP and it's not happening with MI. And there's a UP fan and MI fan in both of you all. So tell me where you guys sit. Is it good to be in the UP camp right now with two great wins for the confidence heading into that potential business end of the tournament? Or is it, I don't know, worse to be in the Mumbai scene right now where you've just suffered two back-to-back shock losses? Nix and then Mohit.
So see, the final is in Brabant.
Yeah.
if UP make the final, I am more confident of UP taking it down as compared to DY Patil. Let's just be very honest about it. That Brabant has slowed down considerably. They have
Correct.
enough spin options. They've troubled Mumbai already once, so they have enough blueprint to follow. So that I think it definitely works in their favor. And the same is the case with Delhi. Delhi has struggled with left arm spin. They have two great options. Again, every team, they have something to work on to, and to the point of peaking at the right time. I think it's let's take the example of Punjab when they won 7 in a row. They had a break, and then they could not win anything.
Yeah.
So see, it is a thing that you may believe in, you may not believe in. Eventually, I feel it comes down to decisions and the processes that you want to follow for the side. Now, if you're trying things and you're losing out because of that, I think it is fine. You're not losing the confidence because you know that you were trying something and it was bound to more fail than work. And so, like, come the big day, let's say for Mumbai, they know the semi is in the first. They don't have to play the eliminator. If they are first, they directly play at Brabant. So mentally, they can start getting ready for what they are going to face in Brabant. So we don't know whether this the ploy today to send Puja up, Easy Wang up was to get them be ready for that kind of situation. So if it works out, you are like, okay, great, it is working out in our favor. It doesn't work out. It's very important to then arrest that momentum. As you say, if they're not working on that day, you just want that first half hour to work in your favor, because otherwise you are then lost in the thoughts that, okay, see, this happened in that knock in the previous games and it's just repeating again and again. So on that day you need that quick start or very confident start, so that you are putting it out of your frame of mind and you are back to normal, that okay, I have things under control, there is nothing for me to worry about.
Hmm. Mohit, you agree with those thoughts?
Yeah, like a lot of valid points there. And to come back to your question, I feel like if you had the choice to be in one camp right now, you'd much rather be in the UP camp than the Mumbai camp. Like today's loss is a proper hammering. Tomorrow they play the afternoon game, so just about a little, it's a early finish, so a little more than 12 hours for them before they reach the stadium again. And that is coming against an RCB side who's done really well in their last couple of games and who are like on a hot winning streak. Smriti Mandana's found form again, and it is at the Brabant, I think. So again, like a very, like at least what we've seen in the last two matches, the pitch has been a road again. So RCB's batting will fancy their
Sorry, it is in DY
chances.
only.
Okay, it's in
Yeah,
DY. So
only DY.
then it probably levels the playing field because Mumbai definitely has the better bowling attack. So RCB's batters will be tested. But considering Pooja Vastrakar has had her injury troubles, Harmanpreet Kaur has had her injury troubles, I don't even know if Mumbai would want to take the risk of playing them in tomorrow's afternoon match, which they now might have to because there is a real possibility of them finishing second. Because if Delhi win tomorrow and considering the hammering they are dishing out today, they might just surpass Mumbai on net run rate. So Mumbai, I think, have a lot of issues. And like Nick said, they've been playing their best 11. They've not been experimenting at all. When it comes to UP, like we were discussing in the last match as well, there's a lot of scope to get things right there even now. Like their opening batter is still not correct. They are not getting the best out of a few of their Indian batters. So that team can still improve. Mumbai, like they are already playing all their best players in the best position. So there's not a lot that they can change, but it's just not been good enough for two matches in a row. And a loss like today, I'm sure will dent confidence no matter how many matches you've won because it's a
Yeah.
proper hammering. Like their bowling attack has probably been the best so far coming into today, but today, like they've really been challenged. So, and considering the Brabant pitch has been pretty flat, and that is where the final will be. I am not sure how confident they would be after these two games. Like a lot will depend on what happens tomorrow against RCB.
Yeah, another six. I mean, and it's about really taking the confidence away from this Mumbai juggernaut. I mean, people like Seka Shak, she's not got the run score against her like how Delhi have. I mean, even right now, Capsy is just fearless and wants to get the game done and over with. Vish, he makes some good points, even does Nick, because look, essentially, you look at UP, and we always know that they're spin heavy. But they were relying on your Talia McGraths, you were relying on your Lisa Healy's, your Grace Harris's. Now we saw the afternoon performance, which also unearthed a couple of new people. Hemalata got some runs. played an absolutely brilliant sort of knock there. The leg spinner and Prashvi Chopra also showed her credentials 2 for 29 with the ball. So UP are brilliant right now. I mean, they would just be buzzing. But for a team like Mumbai, I mean, this is a shocking defeat. So do you put this down to a wake up call, or is it just back to back aberrations?
I wouldn't be too bothered if I was Mumbai about this loss.
Okay.
Right? It looks like a hammering. It is a hammering. They're going to win with 10 overs to spare or something like that.
Yeah.
But that tends to happen when you're chasing a total like
Oh my God, is that the
100
game? Nearly. 6 more.
when
I
you're
mean-
chasing a low total like 107. It's possible the team gets off to a good start, feels confident, and then just keeps going because you know that it's very hard to lose from here. Also, Delhi in this situation are trying to up their net run rate and get it possibly beyond Mumbai, though that
Mumbai.
seems a bit hard because Mumbai is I think plus 2.5 and Delhi's plus 1 or something like that. So it'll be very, very hard for them to leapfrog
But they're
them.
still
But
they're giving it a good go.
so they may as well give it a go. So I mean, it's understandable, and I think there are positives from the batting. Right, sure, they were 20 for 4, like I said, but they did come back fairly well. And so, the speaking at the right time business, I don't understand it at all. I mean, as fans and commentators, we can talk about it, but players can't even think. Can you imagine a team saying we need to peak at the right time? What does that mean? Lose the first 2 and win the next 5? You can't,
You
right?
can't, you
So, as a team, just trying to win all this peak at the right time is, as fans, we can sit outside and comment about it. But I think Mumbai will be very happy with.
And I think that phrase in cricket comes out of another commonly used word in T20 cricket, which is momentum. Speaking of momentum, is she going to finish the game off now? Not yet. Maybe she wants to give it to her captain. Capsy, by the way, 38 of 17. Shifali also played a blinder. Let us know in the comments whose innings you liked more. I can't even really make my mind up right now because Capsy took down Ailey Matthews, so did Shifali. I don't know, it's crazy stuff from Delhi. Vaishali Maheshwari, good to see you in the comments. Normally you're on the right of me, but of course you'll be joining us for the eliminator. She says, till now, it's Mumbai's top 5 who are doing the job. The lower middle order hasn't come to the party, and that is kind of played in the last 2 matches. That's something that even more the Knicks was saying. It's a misfield here, and they'll come back. So that's the win in 9 overs flat.
Incredible.
Delhi have absolutely made a mincemeat of this target. I'll say that same old analogy. I mean, I know Delhi's renowned for their food, and so is Mumbai. But this is literally a case of the chaats and kebabs trumping the vada pav dish. Honestly.
Shortest watch along ever.
Shortest watch along ever. It's a record time, 9:50. 9:50 it is. I mean, Knicks, I feel for you and your rest of the fantasy cricket community because these are not the games like you said. But nevertheless, what's your biggest takeaway from this game? Because I'm not even sure positives and negatives make sense to ask you.
No, but you see, if you get them exactly like I got a couple of days back, you get a handsome amount which can keep you
Yeah.
happy for over a month. So today was not the best day, but it's see, one-sided games are terrible, be it for fantasy or for the game or even for viewership, because you don't have anything to look forward to in the next half. So the only takeaway was the food that I had got home, and it is delivered, and I had it in time.
And what is it today?
Pizza, as
Ah.
sweet and as good as it gets. But yeah, I think for Delhi they will be chuffed with this win, especially the manner which I don't think they gave Mumbai any chance to get back into the game. So Bishan said they fought, and it's okay. You will always expect a few partnerships here and there, but no runs for the top 3. Saika not taking wickets again. So Bishan may be calm, but I'm not. I don't think the Mumbai camp will be as calm as about things. If they lose tomorrow as well, then I definitely think there will be some nervous energy in there because eventually they are also players and they'll want to come out good. And the only reason why I say that is if it's a huge deck in Brabant, then it will be trouble. If it's a fresh deck, good for batting, I don't think Mumbai will be bothered. But if it's not one, and if it is holding up, I feel both Delhi and UP, whoever they meet, they will have something up their sleeves.
Before we close, we need to go back to that last comment. We need to see
Yes.
Oda's comment. and
Do
spend
we?
some time on it. Are you saying he looks 50?
I mean,
Or-
he's spot on. He's spot on. I was born when 1972, a year just before our Indian coach started Dravid. Just to finish off with more 10, because look, a nice comment coming in through from Mr. Lodha, and not so nice, of course, maybe. But Bharat Kotwani makes a point as well. Ishaq is honestly under the pump because essentially she's not got a lot of wickets going under that. And it makes you feel, I know Delhi haven't got a hammering in this competition. I know Mumbai, I mean, technically you would say, not a hammering or whatever. These are the potential champions everyone's dubbing them as, right? Mumbai, Mohit. How much of this will play on their minds? Because to lose is okay, but to lose with 11 overs to spare in T20 is a joke.
Yeah, it's a proper hammering, like we were saying. And I was just looking at the points table. So Delhi are now top. Their net run rate is 1.98 and MI is 1.73. So that's where they are now.
Oh,
So all
Oh
Delhi
my
need to
how
God.
did that
do is
happen?
beat
You-
UP tomorrow, and then they'll go straight to the final. And I think, considering the kind of form that Delhi have been in, they would fancy their chances against UP tomorrow, especially since the match is happening at DY and they have the better seam attack compared to UP. And I don't know how much confidence and relaxation Mumbai will have before turning up for the RCB match tomorrow. Now, there's a very real possibility of Delhi finishing on top of the points table and going straight to the final, which didn't even seem like a possibility at the start of the day. So I agree with what Nick said. Like, if I was in the Mumbai camp, and especially if they lose tomorrow, I'd be very worried. But lots of positives for Delhi. Like, Arundhati Reddy was very impressive today. Like, she was a bowler who was playing as a specialist fielder in the first few games, didn't get the ball at all. Last match, she impressed Meg Lanning. Today, she was given the ball, bowled and over at the dead too, got lots of movement with the ball in the initial overs. So I think her finding form and like just being able to show her ability is a big positive. And I think Delhi also probably have the two best teenage batters in the world, Shafali Verma and Alice Capsey. And on any day that these two get going, just because of the sheer pace at which they score, like the opponents are under so much of pressure that it's very difficult then for them to come back. And I think this is what suits Delhi best because of the lack of batting depth that they have in this playing 11. Bowling first, restricting opponents because bowling is definitely their strength, and then chasing the total down.
So
So I
sorry,
think lot.
are you saying Delhi are peeing at the right time? Sorry, Vishen.
I think they've more or less been peaking throughout the tournament. Like, even the two losses they had, they pushed the opponents. They weren't like cakewalks for the opponents. Like, even against Mumbai, they got just 105, but Mumbai took 16 overs to get it, unlike Delhi, who've like absolutely blitzed through this chase. So I think Delhi and UP currently look in a much better state overall than Mumbai, considering on what we've seen throughout this week, not just today, but like in the last three games that Delhi have played, that UP have played, and that MIF played. I feel like Delhi and UP currently have the edge heading into the playoffs.
I just want to say one thing about Delhi, though. Agree with all of what Mohit said. But the problem with having a batting lineup like Delhi's, where you don't have batting depth and your top order have a high risk kind of approach, right? That's leaving yourself open to being 20 for 2 and lacking batting, right? I can see it happen against a bowling attack that's not defending 109, but something like 180, and there's more pressure on the batters. I can easily see them being 35 for 3 or something like that, and there's no coming back from there, possibly.
True.
Right? So, I'm
See,
calling
which
that
is
this
why,
will happen once in the next couple of games.
yeah,
I
see,
think
which
that
is
already
why
happened.
which is why UP is the best because they keep losing 20 for 2 and they keep winning the games.
Yeah, and they rely on the spinners. I think UP honestly might really surprise a lot of people here. I don't want to jinx it, but look, it's been great talking to you guys, and of course taking the comments as ever. Nick, enjoy your pizza. Won't get over the Mumbai defeat, but they'll come back good, my friend. And you were surprised too by seeing Delhi kind of go on top of them in the points table, but that's how it stands in the Women's T20 League. Love the energy mode, and of course, love the insights from Nick as always. We'll leave you guys there. Bish, thanks so much for making your time, Phil. And of course, tomorrow there will be a double header as well. Bangalore will be playing their last game of the first season, so there could be something to play for over there. And there will be, of course, the other game too. So catch both of those games along with the rest of the content. I'm out of here. Enjoy the rest of the week. Thanks for watching. It's a goodbye from Vishan and
Bye,
myself
everybody.
as well. Cheers. See you.